So I opened a pet shop inside a horror game. A bunch of players decided to bust in, trying to kill me and the animals for points. What they didn't know was, I had a seal on the place. The second any animal stepped outside, their true form came back. That scrawny little tabby, a Siberian tiger, the golden retriever snoozing in the corner, a hellhound, 3 heads and all. And that tiny snake curled up in the corner, a mutant forest python, and it hadn't eaten in a long, long time. After pulling an all-nighter doing animal surgery and dropping dead on the job, I ended up in a horror game applying to be an NPC. I was so dedicated they promoted me to mini-boss pretty quick. Got my own dungeon, I named it Pet Paradise. I'm not really into the whole kill or be killed thing, so I kept the difficulty super low. All players had to do was rescue animals to clear it, and honestly, a lot of them loved it. When things got slow, I went back to my roots and started doing vet work. To promote my shop, I wandered around other dungeons handing out flyers, got pretty friendly with the local monsters. The first customer to walk in was Grandma Shu from the Happy Neighborhood dungeon next door. She hobbled in with her cane, and I jumped right up to greet her. Welcome in. You here to shop, or is this a medical visit? Hey, my Mimi's been acting a little off lately. She's been eating less and just seems totally out of it every day. I think she might be sick, but I'm a supernatural being, so there's no way I can take her to a real-world vet. The guilt in her voice was real. I told her not to worry and to bring Mimi inside for a checkup. But she didn't move. She looked my shop up and down, then shook her head. You should probably come out here and take a look. That had me confused, but I followed her outside anyway. The second I stepped out, something just full-on licked my face, slobber everywhere. It was rough and scratchy. I wiped my face and opened my eyes. Standing right in front of me was a massive Siberian tiger, chunky, with the most innocent eyes. I pointed at it in disbelief. Grandma, you're telling me this is Mimi? But the shock wore off fast. After all those years as a vet, I'd never treated a Siberian tiger before. Literally a first for me, but then a new problem popped up. The tiger was just too big. The moment she walked in, the whole shop felt like a closet. Forget running diagnostics. My x-ray machine could barely fit one of her paws. Grandma, is there any way to shrink Mimi down? Grandma Shu nodded, did something, I'm not even sure what, and the tiger started shrinking. She shrank down into a chubby little tabby. Now we were in business. Mimi was super cooperative and just lay right down on the x-ray table. Once the results came back, I told Grandma Shu exactly why Mimi had been so sluggish. Grandma, Mimi's got a bad case of indigestion. Her stomach is packed with undigested food. She's also constipated. I'm basically full of, well, you know. Have you been overfeeding her? Grandma stroked the tabby's head and said, I only gave her around 22 pounds of meat. Mimi's always been so good about it. She cleans the plate every time. I just stared. 22 pounds of meat? I guess there's a special kind of hunger. It's called Grandma Thinks You're Hungry. I told her to cut it down to about 11 pounds going forward and prescribe some digestive meds for Mimi. After the treatment, Mimi suddenly jumped into my arms, pressed up to my ear and whispered, she needed a favor. Before I could ask what it was, Grandma Zhu dug some tightly wrapped cash out of a plastic bag and tried to hand it to me. I turned it down. The supernatural world plays by different rules, and something told me the other creatures out there weren't exactly harmless. So instead, I asked her to set up a ward on my shop. Any animal that walked in would automatically shrink, made treating them a whole lot easier. Then one night, I was jolted awake by frantic knocking at the door. Please, save my dog. The girl's voice was frantic. Professional instincts kicked in. I dragged myself out of bed, opened the door, and found a girl absolutely covered in blood. But she didn't care about herself. She grabbed my hand tight. Doctor, please, my dog is badly hurt. She was about to drop to her knees. I looked past her and saw a 3-headed monster. Massive, at least 16 feet long, looked like some kind of hellhound. Its body was riddled with wounds, and there was a long gash across its head, deep enough to see bone. No time to talk, I told her to get him inside, fast. The hellhound shrank instantly, taking the shape of a golden retriever. The girl was sobbing as she wheeled him into the operating room. I got to work, cleaning wounds, stopping the bleeding, stitching him up. Every single injury had been meant to kill. It took a full 2 hours to close everything up. When I stepped out of the OR, she was right there waiting. Good news. Surgery went great. He just lost a lot of blood and passed out. If he makes it through the night, he'll be fine. She let out a huge sigh of relief and kept thanking me over and over. But I could see her wounds were still bleeding, so I said, you're not doing so hot yourself. If you trust me, I can patch you up real quick. She looked young, maybe 17 or 18. I couldn't help wondering how a supernatural being had ended up this banged up. Once I was done with her wounds, I asked. She told me, I'm an NPC from the Hell Dungeon. You can call me Zixi. Tonight, a group of players barged into the dungeon. They went straight for every NPC with zero warning, cheering every kill, bragging about racking up 100 points a pop. I'm just a regular NPC. A whole group of them came at me. I didn't stand a chance. Right at the last second, Xiaoji jumped in front of me and took the hit. He held me in his mouth and shielded me with his body through everything. We held on until the big boss finally showed up. By this point, she was crying again. So that's what happened. Guess not all players are decent people. If players like that ever show up in my dungeon, they're done. Watching Zixi and Xiaoji really hit me. To take her mind off things, I asked how they met. The moment she started talking about it, her whole face softened. I raised Xiaoji from when he was little. We were in a car accident. We ended up here together. I was too weak. Players picked on me constantly. Being with me put him through a lot too. Then one day, he nearly died protecting me. It still terrifies me just thinking about it. So I gave him to the big boss. At least under a boss, he'd be safe. But I never expected Xiaoji to just vanish. And when he came back, he looked like this. For me, he went to Frankenstein and had his whole body modified, turned himself into a monster. Just then, Xiaoji opened his eyes from the hospital bed. Zixi, I don't mind being a monster as long as I can protect you. I'm gonna be the strongest monster out there. No player will ever mess with you again. Ugh, I'm literally about to cry. I grabbed a tissue and blew my nose. Don't worry, I'll get Xiaoji back on his feet. But he's got to stay at the shop and recover for a while. You can stop by every day after your shift to see him. After what happened to Cixi and Xiaoji, I just couldn't shake the feeling something bad was coming. I had a feeling those players would be back, so while handing out flyers, I warned NPCs across every dungeon. If anything feels wrong, just run. Thanks to the heads up, a lot of NPCs dodged the players. Everyone wanted to return the favor, so they started coming to my shop. The ones with pets, sure, I get it. But why are you guys with no pets buying cat food and dog food? They just grinned and said, "Gonna go feed the strays!" Still talking, they kept stuffing things into their arms until they literally couldn't carry anymore. Things went back to normal in the horror game, and my shop was thriving. Then one day, while I was stocking shelves, I heard this weird hissing sound coming from outside. At the same time, the whole sky went dark. Did it start raining? I stepped outside to check. And the next second, a massive tongue shot right into my face. A pair of crimson slit pupils stared down at me, sending chills down my spine.